Hello, crypto people. Joey here from the Chart Guys. I've been trading for 7 years. Joined the Chart Guys as a member 6 years ago. And today I'm here to talk about some crypto charts. So, as the title of the stream says and thumbnail, we've got volatility incoming on Bitcoin. That's what you get when you go sideways and tighten on up and have clear levels that everybody's playing off of. Once that range breaks, then we can anticipate volatility. We had a recent example of this back here at the end of January into the beginning of February, and this is obviously best case scenario follow through on something like that. Can't always anticipate follow through like that, but looking for something similar here. Whether we go up, whether we go down, it's no one's or it's anyone's guess at this point. And as we were talking last stream, daily 12 EMA is the key support. We can see here, we'll zoom in a little bit. We got Bitcoin bouncing right from it. And this is kind of something that you pick up with a bit more experience. If you remember, so that was Tuesday. And I was saying, I really don't care if we lose this 50,625 support, because what I do care about is the daily 12 EMA. And ultimately, what I would say allows me to make that distinction is just the proximity to it. If you've got a support that comes right across that EMA, if you lose that support, it doesn't really matter, because that EMA has decent odds of acting as support there. So that will just continue to be our guide here, and that is that. So something to note as we do tighten on up, we've got to make sure that we adjust our trading styles within that, because if you are trading actively during this move, there's lots of opportunity. You have larger percentage moves, you have clearer trends, and as an active trader, that's what you really need. But when you start to tighten on up, your smaller time frames lack clarity, the percentage moves are smaller, and because of that, it's just a difficult environment to try to actively trade in unless you're playing the extremities of the range, which would mean looking long off the lows, looking short off the highs. And it's a very important thing if you're going to be trading regularly, is identifying, are we balancing or are we trending? Because those are really the only two states that the market can be in, balance or trend. And if you're balancing, you have to bust out a different playbook than you need to use if you're trending, or you can just not play, which is what I tend to do more often than not. If there's not a lot of volatility, not a lot of action, I'll just wait until it break. Or if I have a bias for which direction it is going to break, I'll position within and try to get a preemptive position off the ground awaiting the break. But honestly, here, I don't have much of a bias. I know it wouldn't be shocking at all to see some weekly consolidation. We have moved 37% off of the last weekly pivot. Just looking at the chart, wouldn't be shocking to see that consolidation. But the burden of proof is 100% on bears. They need to take out the daily 12 EMA. It's that simple. And if they don't, then bulls maintain full control. Healthy sideways consolidation at the moment. So we'll zoom in here. But again, I really don't like nitpicking trends and patterns and stuff within a tightening range, because it's kind of futile. Like you can see this action here. If we go to the hourly, it's essentially a megaphone that we had. Higher high, no follow through, higher high, no follow through, lower low, no follow through, lower low, no follow through. It's a tough trading environment to navigate. So I encourage everybody to, unless you're playing off the extremities, look to be a little bit cautious. And this is something that we talked about in the Slack chat room here. Chris, one of our very active members, had a bunch of positions, had gotten them off and was kind of pumping the brakes and basically just talking about the same thing. Less opportunity when range bound, smaller time frames choppy, percentage moves smaller, best to wait, and less fishing the extremities of the range. So this is yesterday, and now here we are today with that opportunity to fish the extremities of the range down here. So if you did fish the extremities, you can certainly be out a chunk and have a risk-free stop. And if bulls maintain control, keep the show on the road, you got a nice position. If they don't and bears take out daily 12 EMA, we see some daily or weekly consolidation shape up, then you stop out and you start hunting the weekly higher low. Because even if this range breaks bear and we see weekly consolidation, we've got a ton of room for a weekly higher low compared to 38,555. and bulls will be looking back to that weekly 12 EMA again and scouting that weekly higher low. Again, because I've said I will mention it every stream, not going to be shocked if we get a 6-month lower high compared to all-time highs at 69K. But not going to call tops, not going to hunt tops or anything like that, because if bears are going to show up and shape a 6-month lower high up, it's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen in 1 week. There will be trends need to be lost, downtrends need to be confirmed. There will be big bear volume, and the main thing for me is just going to be weekly 12 EMA. So if weekly 12 EMA is support, bulls have nothing to worry about. Bigger picture, if we lose that weekly 12 EMA, that's when we start talking a little bit more about like, okay, is this the first step of a 6-month lower high? Because even if that were to happen, we'd still be looking for a monthly higher low. We'd have to lose monthly 12 EMA if we're going to tighten up in here, similar to how we did in 2017, 18, and into 2020. So I guess we will go back into the smaller timeframes on Bitcoin here just to give it a little structure. Bulls need to get over 51,333 and the 4-hour 12 EMA to essentially rotate up to the upper portion of this kind of mini balance within this bigger balance here. So if bulls want to go test the extremities at the highs, need to get up and over 52,065. And let's zoom in a little bit more. Got a little 15-minute uptrend here. We are looking for an hourly lower high. Anything below that 51,333 would be one. A little hourly stair step. If that breaks, then probably be looking for an hourly higher low compared to these lows down here at now 50,629. So that's what we got going on Bitcoin. Set your alerts for the breaks because that's when opportunity will come on back here. And let's see where we'd hit 4-hour oversold because that's our next back burner. I don't know if I'd call it a full-blown back burner, but that's what bulls are going to want to hold if this is to stay the strongest. We know our back burners have been hitting the whole way up. It was 5-minute oversold hitting on this leg, 15-minute oversold hitting on these legs, and then this was hourly oversold hitting. So once that gets used up, 4 hours the next one. So that currently is around 49.3K, but definitely going to move around a little bit. It's going to move around a little bit as we, pending how long we go sideways here, pending when we break out. So if you don't have these, I know it's kind of tough to see on the stream, this RSI projector tool. It's in TradingView, and it's just RSI levels by Adami. And it's a really excellent tool for planning out your trades, guesstimating where oversold levels will be. So when you first add it to your chart, it's like really psychedelic. So I would recommend changing the settings up a little bit. You see, that's the default there. But I've nuked all of the other RSI levels because that's like 30, 27, 25, 20, or something like that. So I just have 30 down low, 70 up high, have it nice and faded so it's not too obtrusive on the chart. All right. What else we got? ETH. So ETH USD bulls continue to ride the 12-hour 12 EMA, and they maintain full control as long as that is the case. Once again, we are bouncing from it, and if that were to be lost, it would just be the zoom out game. We'd look down to daily 12 EMA. It would be a intermediate character shift if we lose the 12-hour 12 EMA just because of how long we've been riding it. But it'll just be the zoom out game. We'll look to daily 12 EMA and see if bears take out that kind of riding the momentum of the 12-hour 12 EMA being lost and shape up some weekly consolidation here. Again, won't be shocking, but absolutely zero signs of it yet. 40% move off of the last weekly higher low and on pace for more increasing bull volume. We've got 2 days left in the week and we're almost at last week's volume. So ETH bulls love to see it, and just going to continue playing off that 12-hour 12 EMA as long as that is holding. And if you wanted to be an ETH bear, then you're waiting for that to be lost. And you're looking short. You're looking for ETH BTC to break its daily stair step along with ETH USD losing the 12-hour 12 EMA. This has just been a higher low every daily candle all the way off of the lows here. So we were riding 4-hour 12 EMA for quite some time, and that's now been lost. So it is the first little sign of a shift to bears in terms of relative strength on ETH, and you could certainly call this a head and shoulders type pattern, but bears have the burden of proof on them firmly. So let's see, if this were to be a head and shoulders and confirm from here, anything below 58.31 would be a 4-hour lower high, and then bears would have to come back down and break this support if the bounce is getting underway from here, which it looks like, but there's more proving to do. 57.16 would be that key support, and then we would look to daily 12 EMA. If daily 12 EMA holds, then the 2-week move remains strong, and we know bigger picture, ETH BTC bulls want to get the 2-week uptrend to essentially get back into this quarterly tightening range here. So the question is, are we going to get a 2-week lower high compared to this 61.17 and tighten on up, or are bulls going to be able to go for the trend change from here? Well, next time we consolidate on the daily, if we hold the daily 12 EMA, then bulls' shots at getting up to resistance remain fine. If we lose the daily 12 EMA, then that's going to increase the odds of a 2-week tightening range. So ETH USD bulls want to see this continue on up. ETH USD bears want to see a standard EMA rider play where you're riding the EMA. Once you lose it, you fish the high, you look for the trend change down. So LTC, not going to waste much time on it. It's really not doing anything. We've got a weekly equilibrium, high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high. Anything over 63.13 going to be a higher low. And looking at the daily here, what is this even? Bulls are definitely snapping up the dips down here. It could be an early sign of the weekly higher low, but what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, when you're in a sideways range, you can anticipate lack of clarity, you can anticipate smaller percentage moves, and the bottom line for LTC is that LTC BTC is still crap on the bed. We are in black dirt breakdown, no sign of bulls at all. Bigger picture, they got to get over weekly 12 EMA now, and in the shorter term, they got to get over daily 12 EMA. So if bulls bounced up to daily 12 EMA on LTC BTC here, we could be watching for a little inverse head and shoulders to potentially shape up a weekly bounce, and that could make LTC a viable play for a little bit, but until that happens, it's just a stinker. So looking at SOL, we got our weekly lower high set at 118.69, and this is a beautiful chart here. So bulls are looking for a weekly higher low compared to 79. You want to hold this weekly 12 EMA. I gotta let my cat in real quick. Hold on a second. Come on in, sweet potato. Yeah, come on. Howdy. Howdy, howdy. Oh, you want to say hi to everybody? No, you don't. All right, so this rejection here on SOL from the highs up at 126.36, it's what a trader who's not already in obviously wants to see, because you don't want to just go up and crack right through that. So this pullback is now giving bulls an opportunity to position for a weekly higher low. So at this point, we are just kind of grinding 4-hour oversold. We got 4-hour 12 EMA resistance. So bulls need to get up and over 4-hour 12 EMA with an uptrend to try to shape up a daily bounce, and then ultimately need to regain a daily uptrend to get a weekly higher low set. So SOL definitely a top watch here for a weekly higher low. Link, another one where we're looking for a weekly higher low. That weekly 12 EMA is around 16.55. Bulls want that to hold for everything to remain healthy, bigger picture, and just daily stair step on the way down. So nice clear guide, 4-hour 12 EMA, similar to SOL there. Bulls got to get up and over 4-hour 12 EMA to get a daily bounce going, and then need to regain a daily uptrend to shape up a weekly higher low. So let's see what else we got. So TIA, we've been talking for a little bit. Is this breakdown in TIA BTC, is that going to foreshadow what happens in TIA USD? Because we had lost our weekly uptrend here and we had this relative weakness. Well, it did end up leading to outsized weakness in TIA USD. We lost the 3-day 12 EMA, which we've been riding for a good while. And you can just see here now at this point, we are 25% off of the top. And this is a good example of why you want to see your BTC ratio moving along with your USD pairing if you're like breaking to new highs or something like this. Because if we look at TIA BTC, we can see we didn't break to new highs. We had the highs back in the middle of January and a lower high compared to those, and then it rolled on over. While TIA USD, you can't trust that break of the mid-January high if your BTC parent isn't coming along. So with that being said, we are still looking for a weekly high or low. Anything over 1387 would be one, and any name in proximity of blue skies is worth keeping an eye on. So if we were to see now TIA BTC hold its little baby weekly 12 EMA, then that would bring relative strength back in and have TIA USD bulls looking good again. So I typically like to wait for the ratio chart to show some signs of life. I don't like to necessarily, sometimes I like to try to nail the pivot between relative weakness back to relative strength, but it's really difficult. It's high risk, high reward. So more sensible is wait for this ratio to show some signs of life and then look to scout a position on the USD pairing. So INJ, kind of losing its clarity a bit. Bulls tried to break this 3-day EQ to the upside and no follow through. And we're back down to the low. So just as we were talking about with the Bitcoin range, bulls are playing long off the lows, bears are playing short off the highs. And if we are to remain in this range, then bulls need to hold 30.97. And traders looking for swing positions are looking to play off these lows, try to get risk free, see if we can't have this end up being kind of like this consolidation where you get a big move up, sideways, healthy, and then you get another leg. Get a big move up, sideways, healthy, and get another leg. That's what bulls are looking for, and bears are looking for the bear break of that range to essentially get monthly consolidation underway. So daily stair-step guide there on INJ. Let's see, SEI coming off the top a little bit here. So I think let's stick with the 3-day time frame because we're not technically consolidating on the weekly yet, but we're starting to scout some higher lows. Anything over 58 cents would be one, and we are nearing 4-hour oversold. So 4-hour oversold would be one leg lower, right around 76 cents. We got 4-hour 12 EMA resistance, and bulls gonna need to get up and over 4-hour 12 EMA to get a daily bounce going, and then looking to bounce big enough on the daily to regain a daily uptrend and try to look back to those all-time highs. So let's see, OP, looking like we've got some pretty firm bearish defense up at resistance. So 428, our weekly resistance here. Bulls trying to confirm the weekly bull flag, but bears playing defense there. So if we lose 345, then that would be the weekly lower high being set. If there's no follow through there, this could be a weekly cup and handle. If there is follow through, we'll be looking down to weekly 12 EMA for a weekly higher low compared to 261. And we got a little head and shoulders on the daily here. So if bulls hold 346 and bounce on the daily, bears going to be looking for a daily lower high compared to 419 and looking to confirm that head and shoulders to get weekly consolidation underway. But you got to make sure you don't overstay your welcome if that's a play that you're going for, because we'll certainly be looking for a weekly higher low there. What else we got for our blue sky crew? So Tau, not really doing anything. We lost our daily 12 EMA. That was our guide, but we're not consolidating on the weekly yet. If we lose the weekly stair step, we'll have tons of room for a weekly higher low, and really not a lot of clarity here. Well, I guess I take that back. We'll look at it on the 8-hour. Yeah, it's a nice 8-hour EQ. Low, high, higher low, lower high, and bulls trying to shape up a higher low compared to 563. That would need to break bull to have bulls looking back up to all-time highs. Really not that far away at this point. 18%, but this thing's super volatile. So if that breaks bear, that would be our weekly consolidation looking to shape on up from here. So Pendle, we know that was our daily 12 EMA rider, lost daily 12 EMA. Bears showed on up in a pretty big way, but now we got bulls back. So getting a daily bounce underway, got to regain a daily uptrend to try to shape up a weekly higher low. And that's pretty much that. What else we got? SUI, seeing resistance up at that 2 psychological. We've lost our daily 12 EMA here, and now we got a little ginger daily downtrend as our guide for weekly consolidation. Anything over 1 psychological going to be a weekly higher low. So that is on Scout. Just going to let the daily downtrend be the guide. And our NDR, new all-time highs. So kind of riding some hype of like just the general AI fervor around the markets, NVDA earnings, and all that jazz. And we've got a clear 12-hour 12 EMA rider. Clean as you like it. So bulls are continuing to play off the 12-hour 12 EMA as long as it keeps on working. And backburners have been hitting on this guy. So we had a nice 5-minute oversold backburner a couple days ago. Marked a decent low before a double-digit % move. And now we got 15-minute oversold, marking a pretty solid move here. So backburners continue to hit, and it will be notable when they stop hitting. But even when that happens, tons of room for a weekly higher low. Another name where weekly 12 EMA is our guide, and bulls are cruising. And we got a fresh coin, WLD, up in blue skies, seeing some pretty good hype. Let's see, in just the last 2 weeks, 273%. So definitely a volatile one, and up in blue skies. So again, I'll just repeat it all the time because Dan repeats it all the time. He's got it hammered into my head. Focus on blue sky bulls is very important. When you don't have resistance overhead, price can get nutty and see big moves. Like, let's look at this follow through. I mean, I'm not going to look at the listing candle. We'll look from here. So you break to new all-time highs. We'll go on the daily for it. Break to new all-time highs. And in, what is that? That is like 6 days, 7 days. We've got almost 100%. So very, very impressive. Let's find our EMA. It's probably another 12-hour. Yeah, 12-hour, 12 EMA rider. That is going to be our guide as long as that's holding. Bulls are in full control. If we were to lose that, we'd zoom out to the daily 12 EMA, and then when we lose that, we'll zoom out to the weekly 12 EMA. And certainly backburners are on deck on this thing. And let's see, was this the hourly backburner? No, it didn't quite hit. So we haven't had hourly oversold since this move started on up. So that's certainly going to be on watch. And same thing for RNDR. You know, you don't want to chase these things up here, but if you're going to try to get an entry, it's backburners. That's the way to do it. Set your alerts or check out the Trader Pro alerts that Chart Guys Cryptobi designed with Dan's Tactics. Super sweet alert system that essentially lets you know where these backburners are hitting across all these names. So it really helps keep track of what we've got going on in the market. So RNDR, WLD going to be on back burner watch. Let's see, the DEX names are getting some good pop today on some uni news. Not going to pretend to be a fundamental guy and try to relay what the news is. There's definitely other people out there that know about 1,000 times more than I do in that regard. But you can see all of these names that are related got a very similar pop. So Sushi, Uni, CRV got it, 1 Inch got it, UNFI got it, AAVE got it. So definitely some volatility opportunity in these DEX related names. And you just want to be cautious though. Buying dips after like a news related big pump like that. So there's nothing wrong with looking for a 5-minute backburner and hourly higher lows and all that jazz, but you just want to make sure you're not just blindly scaling into that. So actually, you know, a little PTSD on that. The fastest I've ever, the most and fastest money I've ever, or not the most, but the fastest I've ever lost money in my life was buying the dip on UNFI in June 2022. And if we turn off log, you can kind of see how insane that pump was. It was, and this was stupid aggressive of me because it's kind of coming off of a really good stretch of trading and you know, after the 2021 crypto just general hype market. So I was very aggressive and absolutely smoked myself in a matter of like 3 hours or something like that. It's just like, oh my God. So, and that was just scaling in, assuming that it was going to bounce. So I'm always a little protective on buying dips after news pumps now. So real quickly, we'll check in on our weekly lower high crew. I know we've got one that has broken, and as we've been saying, the more alts that go to weekly higher highs when a lower high was the most likely scenario, that increases the odds that other alts are going to do the same. So ETH was one of the first to end up just V-shaping to higher highs, and now we're having some others follow. So FIL has gone to these weekly higher highs despite having a ton of room for it, and this is your clue that that is a possibility, the increasing bull volume. If the less likely scenario is going to play out, it's very likely going to have increasing bull volume accompanying that scenario, or increasing bear volume if you're talking about looking for a higher low. So we'll slide FIL out, or we'll put it at the bottom so we can keep track of how these play out. But that is no longer a weekly lower high scout. Matic right up on resistance and remaining healthy in the scheme of things as long as daily 12 EMA is support. No weekly lower highs shaping up. AXS is very weak. So this one has much greater odds of a weekly lower high still, being so far away from resistance. And bears need to confirm a daily downtrend from here. And you can look at how this could be the framework for how a name like Matic could shape up its weekly lower high. You ride in the daily 12 EMA, you lose it, that creates room for the daily lower high, then bears got to confirm the downtrend to get the weekly lower high set. So if we look at Matic, riding the daily 12 EMA, if we were to fall down like that, that's when you'd fish the high and then look for the trend change. But as long as bulls are in daily uptrends and remaining strong, you don't want to be fighting that. You don't want to be fighting that, but we're not going to lose track that weekly lower highs are most likely on a lot of these. But here you go with Matic, increasing volume. Let's see, Theta increasing volume, but still a decent way from resistance. But daily 12 EMA, you got to lose that if these lower highs are going to shape up. ETC, the only one that has shaped it up already. So weekly lower high is set, and now we'll look for a weekly higher low in tightening range compared to 2172. You can see we didn't really have that increasing bull volume, very marginally, but you compare that to like Theta, that's clear as day. Even Matic, much clearer than what we had on ETC here, and you had your bearish pattern. So as we were talking last week, this kind of channel rising wedge delio, if that were to break bear, that'd be the weekly lower high shaping up. So that has now happened, but if it's going to see any follow through, bull's got to confirm a daily downtrend next bounce. So what else we got? AAVE getting a little help here today, but still tons of room for the weekly lower high, and ultimately got saved by this news today, in my opinion, because after this slink up, deep daily pullback, that's where bears were going to be looking for the lower high and ultimately try for a weekly bear flag, because that's a pretty dinky bounce in the scheme of things. But saved by the Uniswap related news. 15-minute equilibrium here right now. Let's see, Atom. It's another one. It's looking like the weekly lower high is shaping on up. Let's go into the daily. So riding daily 12 EMA, you lose it, and then you look to fish that high and get the downtrend. So they all have the same structure right now. Most of these on this list have the daily 12 EMA, and that's got to be lost for us to talk about the lower high shaping up. And from the beginning of the stream, that's the same thing we're talking about with Link or ETH BTC. If bulls hold daily 12 EMA, there's not going to be any 2-week lower high shaping up. This stuff is the same stuff across all time frames, across all assets and instruments. There's nuances to different instruments for sure, but the core of it all, it's the same stuff. If you just learn the core, learn multiple time frame analysis, learn all of your trends and stuff, you can apply it to all sorts of stuff, whether you're trading natural gas and gold or MJ stocks or crypto coins. It's pretty sweet stuff. So GMT, very weak weekly bounce, potential weekly bear flag. We know we're watching this weekly head and shoulders. off of the monthly 12 EMA. If that were to confirm, that'd be a monthly lower high set. And what do you know? Same as all these other guys. You got daily 12 EMA, you lose it, gotta fish the high and get the downtrend to get that lower high set. And ADA, we're undergoing the same thing. Riding daily 12 EMA, we're looking for the weekly lower high. You've now got your sign that that could be shaping up here, and bears would have to form a daily lower high compared to 64 and confirm that downtrend if that's going to shape up. But if that happens, we're looking for a weekly higher low, and if there's not a lot of follow through, this could be a cup and handle. Maddox certainly could be a cup and handle. If we get the weekly lower high set and it's a bull flag, that's a cup and handle. So ASX, theta's too far. Yeah, I think the only cup and handles are Matic and potentially ADA. And yeah, that is that. All right. That's what I'm looking at. Let's check back in on Bitcoin. Let's see what y'all are looking at. Yeah, Bitcoin still doing nothing. Still doing nothing. Let's see, Pete Town 13. I entered into longs on BTC and sold today. Stop loss in profit already. Just hoping for some Friday weekend bull action. Yeah, it's there's very clear levels to be playing off of on Bitcoin. Sol a little less clear, but once you get your stops in profit, that's just the best feeling. You can't go wrong at that point. So you just chill and wait and see if Sminim blesses you or if BOG comes out to play. Let's see, Hort Stew. Is the Trader House going to be a thing, or is that idea less probable to play out? Yeah, it's unlikely to play out in its original vision that Dan had. I mean, it is still a thing. I'm here and have traders over and whatnot, but it's not the rotating door of traders that it was originally planned to be. So, Devin from the Chart Guys comes out here, Lamont comes out here. But most of it's actually like in-town work. There's a good number of traders that live in the area, and they come over and we talk charts, and it's a good old time. But as far as TCG members coming out here on a regular basis, no, that's not going to be the thing. Let's see, Kermit didn't get the memo. Dan's off enjoying life, brother. He been grinding TCG stuff for 8 years, grinding trading for 13 years, and he's definitely still around. It's just not as much in a public sense. It's more in the chat room. If you look in the chat room here today, we got Dan at 2:09. So less than an hour ago, Dan's bopping around saying stuff. So he's traveling, enjoying life, and still in the chat room every day. Oh, let's see. Thank you all for answering Kermit's question. Thank you for the nice words, Squirrel Funds. Let's see, Simon. I appreciate it. Happy to stream. Happy to chat with y'all on a Friday. Revy, what up, what up? You never miss a stream, and I love it. Let's see, Hort asking if I have a Twitter account. I don't, but I know I need to. So I have a Twitter account, but it's just a shell. If I've got to look up news or something, but I honestly haven't been on there in months and months. I really don't care what other people think or say. It like affects my bias. So earlier in my career, I consumed as much stuff as I could from everybody, and then you learn who you vibe with, who you want to learn from. And then you develop your own stuff, and then eventually, I don't know, like I get sentiment gauges from the Chart Guys. If I wasn't in the Chart Guys, I would probably have to be on Twitter a bit more, because I do think social sentiment is a tangible edge within the markets. But man, I just don't want to clog my brain with the trash that's on there, because everything you read, it affects your bias, even if you're very good at blocking it all out and letting it come in and go and this and that. It's still like a little nugget that's in your head that affects your bias, and I'd rather just have none of that and put all of my energy into refining my understanding of technical analysis and how I evaluate probabilities and setups and this and that. Just things like with what we were talking about on the last stream, where I'm like, I don't care if 50,625 breaks. Many people are like, that's the key level. But little tweaks like that, like those are the things that I like to put my time into, not listening to people on Twitter. And I don't, despite doing these streams, I do not desire a spotlight or anything like that. So I don't feel like I have any desire to be like posting stuff on Twitter to like get my name out there or this or that. I post in the Chart Guys every day. And that's my community that I like to do. But anyways, I am gonna get a Twitter because people keep asking, and maybe I'll post cat pictures on there or something like that. Or maybe I'll post dank setups. Who knows? Let's see what else we got. Interfans says hello, Dan. Dan around here? Actually, I do have some. we can get a little visit from Dan, or I can pretend to be Dan. Let me get that right. There he is. There's Dan. That's Devin printed out these stickers of Dan, and during his bachelor party, we were in San Diego, and we put Dan face stickers all over the place. It was a riot. Surely some of them are still up there because we were being hooligans and spreading the word of Dan. All right, we got another chart. End of the segue. Bond USDT. And by the way, if you're ever in San Diego, find the CVS and see if the Dan sticker's still freaking way up there on the outside cladding. Bond, let's see. So Bond, this is a fugly chart, my friend. You've got higher highs, no follow through, lower lows, no follow through. We got a weekly bounce underway, and we are looking for a weekly lower high compared to 820. And let's see if it has the same format. So same format as that whole other weekly lower high crew that we were talking about. Well, not quite same format, because we do actually have the daily downtrend here, but we're still in a weekly stair step. So if bears want to get the weekly lower high set, they need to see another round of daily lower highs and lower lows. If bulls bounce up like that to this resistance here at 384, then we'd have like a daily inverse head and shoulders to set a 3-day higher low, 2-day higher low, however you want to look at it. Yeah, I think 3-day. So if we're going to see continuation on the weekly bounce, bulls need to shape up a daily inverse head and shoulders here, or I suppose we could get like a falling wedge. If we were to bounce up like that and then see another round of lower lows without follow through, you could have your wedge shape up. I think those are the two most likely scenarios for what would have bulls continuing on. But after you get a big pump like that and then confirm a daily downtrend, not a great look. And this thing is not unfamiliar with these big pumps that ultimately just don't see any follow through. So many of these spikes here. So that's that. That is that. If we do get a weekly lower high set, I wouldn't say bulls are confident that we can get a weekly higher low compared to 293. It's not too impressive of a bounce there at this point. But the whole thing is like clarity is important. Clarity is so important as a trader. And I know folks have fundamental reasons for being on a coin or off a different coin, but I don't know. As an active trader, you got to have clarity. And when you have something like this, there's just not any clarity. Not any clarity. What up, Ryan V? Happy Friday, brother. Jahanzib, hello. That was the quickest I've said your name. I didn't have time. I'm getting better every week. All right, Pete Town. We already did a little soul, but we can check back in on it in the beginning of the stream. Talked about some soul there. So we're looking for a weekly higher low. Bulls are pleased to be able to position for that in hopes that we can just have a nice sideways healthy consolidation and then another leg up. And we've just got a daily stair step down, daily downtrend. So ultimately you need to get a daily bounce big enough to create room for a daily higher low and then regain a daily uptrend. So if the daily bounce is going to get underway, bulls need to get over 4-hour 12 EMA. So it'd be something like this, get over 4-hour 12 EMA, confirm a 4-hour uptrend. That's your daily bounce. And then you do the same thing with the daily. So if we continue down here, I'll certainly be looking at weekly 12 EMA. It's in like the mid 92s at this point, and just kind of letting bears do their things, because we got to ask ourselves, these names that are already consolidating on the weekly, like Link and Sol, if Bitcoin's going to start weekly consolidation, they're not positioned very well for that. They're not positioned very well for that. You all good, man? You all good? Down to talk about it again, because it's going to be a top watch going forward here. Y'all remember from, I don't know, I guess maybe a month ago at this point, we were looking at RNDR for this weekly higher low every stream, tracking all of these signs, because it was close to blue skies, and now we're up 140% since that scout there. So you got to identify, what are the potentially juicy setups? What names are positioned well? What names are positioned within proximity to all-time highs? And then you scout them relentlessly. And sometimes it takes a long time. This RNDR felt like it took forever because we went sideways for 3 weeks. And then some stuff, I mean, I'm scouting a 6-month higher low on wheat, and I've been doing it for months now. I've been doing it for months now, because if you're talking a 6-month higher low, these things take time to play out. So you make your list. Dan talked about like how it's like a conveyor belt of trades, where you have your list of things that you're looking for tomorrow, things that you're looking for next week, and things that you're looking for maybe a month from now, or something like that. And you stay on top of them. You write it down on a piece of paper, or you make a watch list, and then you check in. You look for patterns. I was hopeful that this wheat was going to be able to pop this big old kind of falling wedge. We're tightening up right below the downtrend resistance line, and then got smacked down. Bull strong bounce right back up to that resistance line. So mark my words, everyone's going to be talking about wheat again someday, and I'll hopefully be loaded. You can call me Farmer Joe, but yeah, some of these things take time. Yeah, let's check out Mara. So Mara, potential weekly cup and handle. So we did get our weekly consolidation underway, and this brings up a good point. So we know that Mara prefaced the move off the lows for Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. No, Mara topped out early here. When did we bottom in Bitcoin? The 23rd. And go back here. Mara. Yeah, so Mara topped out before Bitcoin, bottomed before Bitcoin, topped out before Bitcoin, and yeah, we're consolidating on the weekly now. So does that mean Bitcoin's going to follow and consolidate on the weekly? We'll find out. But Mara's a potential weekly cup and handle. Got the double top up at 31.30 and 30.45. And if this is all we get, and that's a weekly cup and handle, and if that were to shape up from here, we would need to see a daily bounce big enough for bulls to fend off bears from confirming a downtrend. Because if this is a weak little daily bounce, bears confirm the downtrend, odds of the weekly cup and handle decrease significantly. But if you bounce up big, then you can, even if you set the daily lower high, you can keep the show on the road. So this is a very crucial location that bulls are defending. From a volume profile perspective, we have this range from back here, and you can see how it's come into play time and time and time again. And here we have bulls just defending the POC vehemently. So gotta get over this 25.11 though to get some bounce underway. And obviously, whatever Bitcoin does with its daily tightening range, going to impact Mara a lot here. So not a lot going on today, just daily inside bars, and those will be on watch into next week. So aggressive bulls fishing this POC for sure, but being prepared to stop out. Oh, actually, we got earnings. That sucks. Earnings are the 28th, so next week. Yeah, so we've got earnings next Wednesday. So that kind of, I say it sucks because, if you wanted to be an aggressive bull positioning off that POC, looking for the cup and handle on the weekly, earnings is just a gamble. It's going to be a pure gamble. So for me personally, that takes the trade off the docket. All right, Simon. Let's see, EOS, USDT on Binance. Is this part of the uni crew? Yeah. So getting that pop. Let's start a little more zoomed out. So we're testing monthly 12 EMA. It's been acting as resistance, or we've been below it since December 2021. And if bulls can break 91.4, that would be a little dinky monthly uptrend for the first time in a long time. We lost our monthly trend back that same December. So weekly is, this is very similar to the weekly lower high crew. These guys, lots of room for a weekly lower high, but we've got increasing bull volume. So at this point, kind of similar to AAVE, I'd say, in the sense that it's getting saved a little bit today. So, losing EMAs, looking like weekly lower high might be starting to show some signs, and then news saved it. So losing EMAs, didn't fully lose them, but looking like maybe we're petering out, kind of a little upward channel that's broken bare, and then the news saved it. So just gonna watch our daily higher lows now. Unfortunately, at this point, the key support is nearly 10% away. So that level is gonna be 73.6, and these news pumps, man, it's a little tough to make sense of it. We got a little 15-minute equilibrium here. If that breaks bare, that would be hourly consolidation getting underway. Anything over 76 would be an hourly higher low. And if we were to lose, what do we got here? If we were to lose the pump start location, to me, that would significantly increase the odds that a weekly lower high is shaping up. And we've already given back so much on this pump. We've given back 7%. I wonder if Uni's even given back that much, being way more volatile. I guess percentage-wise it is, but when you look at retracement size, Uni's obviously the primary beneficiary here. Sushi doing a little bit better, still in the upper 2/3 of its pump range. CRV in the upper third, or no, that would be, it's maybe 2/3 of the way up. Then 1inch actually going up to the pump highs. So that one's doing great. Didn't see nearly the size of Uni's, but and UNFI, freaking turd, already back down to the lows. So that's a red flag there. And ultimately, EOS is closer to UNFI than it is these other guys here at this point. So let's see, maybe 30-minute, same tightening range. If we break bull on this, I would certainly anticipate a 30-minute lower high compared to 88.3. And if bulls want to take a crack at resistance, you ultimately got to get back through this wick high. But at this point, it's almost double-digit percent away, 8%. 8%. So we'll just watch our daily higher low support, and that's that. This one would be a potential weekly cup and handle if we were to consolidate on the weekly and it were to be a bull flag. That's that. All right. We got a request for more cat pics, please. Yeah, I'll get the Twitter going. Get some kitty pics. Let's see, I just need a knitted poncho. I could go for a knitted poncho. I used to have one back in the day. Revy, you'll see. You'll see about wheat. All right. Simon, you get a crack out of wheat futures. Dude, I just couldn't care less what I trade. I'll slang wheat, slang corn, I'll slang beans. Those are the main obscure ones that I do. I do the metals, gold, silver, platinum, copper. I do the energies of oil and natural gas. I don't do the more obscure energies like heating oil and I don't do the more obscure things like Coco. But you want to talk about a chart? You want to talk about blue sky breakout? I mean, Coco, absolute freaking beast, absolute beast. The liquidity's kind of trash on it though. I mean, it's not awful, but I don't trade any of the ICE US ones. I'm on like Comex, NYMEX, and what the heck is the other one? I think those are the main two commodities ones. But yeah, what else we got? Orange juice is absolutely beasting. Blue skies, very similar to cocoa. Got sugar. It's another one, not beasting, but another obscure one. Then you got your hogs, or not HG, HE, your lean hog futures. You can do some cattle. How about leveraging into like 100,000 pounds of live cattle? That just sounds like a great time to me. But again, it's decently illiquid. Tougher to trade these things. And that's why I don't trade like palladium. Not to mention the contract is huge, but I don't want anything with gaps. When I stop out, I want to stop out. Even platinum is a little sketch for me at times. It's definitely more liquid than those other ones, but when you compare this liquidity to like gold, two different stories. And actually, copper jacked me a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for this lower low, no follow through. Ultimately ended up stopping out at the bottom on like a 1.5 cent slippage, which is like a lot on a super leveraged futures contract. It essentially made my loss like 2.5 times what I was like risking. So then with that, I couldn't make a second attempt because I'd already shot my wad. And yeah, obviously would have been nice. Would have been nice. Let's see. Nino is coming with the challenge. CUGTAS. TAS. But you say it's tough. I'll just go phonetically. Cugtas. Nino Cugtas. You have to let me know how I did. A pleasure, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Let's we've got a giveaway at the Chart Guys right now. We'll talk about that and then we'll wrap up the stream. So giving away 3 free 1-month memberships. So it ends on Tuesday, and yeah, definitely worth signing up for. You just got to put your email in there. You get put into a drawing. If you get picked, you get a free 1-month trial here at the Chart Guys. And just to show kind of what the Chart Guys has going on a little bit more, this is that website, same guy that does the Trader Pro alerts, Toby, made this gorgeous website. So this is the user dashboard. And you have all your resources like your streams, your video library, term glossary. Then the swing report is in here. We'll take a look at that in a second. But this is just your main dashboard. It has the stream schedule for the day, has economic events, links to all this other stuff here. You got the swing report. Come on, load, you slow dog. So swing report put out every week, and Lamont does updates as he trades the report. You get live updates on that. And just look at these stats on this thing. Look at all these targets hitting. And so these are the stop outs, that red there. How many stops do we have here? We've got 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops since October. That is, Lamont is so good. He's my freaking hero. He's my freaking hero. But yeah, all your courses, your account stuff. What else we got? The educational videos. So we got over 10,000 videos on the YouTube channel, but we've got a bunch of these Chart Guys member only educational videos on here, and I mean tons. This list just goes down, and these things are like the juice. So yeah, if you don't mind giving your email, sign up for the giveaway. See if you end up being the lucky one, and then or one of the lucky 3. And then obviously, we've got our Slack chat room here. So all these different channels, these are the crypto ones, and got everybody grinding the action in there. And crypto alts, I tell you, during a alt winter, it sucks to see these channels die, because if there's not a lot of opportunity, people aren't going to be trading a ton. But right now, I mean, these are all posts today of people getting in on actions, scouting setups, doing things. So it's great to work on it with a team. Great to work on it with a team. And we've got a lot of awesome traders in here, experienced traders, new traders, really just great vibe in general. And obviously, I'm very biased towards TCG, but I joined in 2018 as a member just like anybody else, and kind of fell in love with the ethos and Dan, obviously, and the education. But it's worth checking out. So that's all I've got here for today. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Helps the algos, helps the info reach more people. And we'll look to see if Bitcoin can hold daily 12 EMA and keep the show on the road, or if we set up weekly consolidation. With the loss of that, we'll be watching 4-hour oversold conditions if we get there. And ETH USD 12-hour 12 EMA, ETH BTC daily stair step, Sol looking for a weekly higher low, Link looking for a weekly higher low, RNDR 12-hour 12 EMA rider looking to see if TIA can come back to life, INJ bottom fish opportunity, SEI 3-day 12 EMA, 4-hour oversold conditions. And yeah, that's that. Those are the top watches. So I hope you all have a great weekend. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit like, hit like. Simon, no problem. Adios. Oh, I nailed it for Nino Cugtas. I'm a pro. Let's see. Tomato. Hi, Joey. Any new courses coming up sometime? Dan mentioned. Yeah, there was talk about an advanced trading course. Dan had talked about doing it. We had talked about potentially working on it together, but he's in chill mode right now, so nothing imminent with courses. But there will be another eventually, and I do believe that it'll be an advanced trading course, made by Dan himself. Sweet, Nino. Glad you're digging the community's offerings. I'm telling you, like, again, I know I'm biased, and I'm like, I hate the having to pitch stuff like this, because I'm just a chart nerd. I like teaching, and that's my main thing. And doing the marketing stuff, I don't like doing it, being completely honest. But obviously, I have to do that as it's part of the gig. So I'm glad that you were enticed by a little preview there. It's sweet. It's sweet. I was a member for 4 years before I ended up working for the chart guys. So obviously, joined and just found insane value and kept going. Met my best friends are all in the chart guys now. It's a lot of like-minded individuals. It's not your whole standard Lambo trading crew. It's a lot of people who just want to help other people do well. A lot of people who want to see everybody move forward as a team. And when you get members helping other members just out of the goodness of their heart, it's awesome. It's a beautiful spot. Sweet. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Ryan, that you're loving TCG. Ryan joined, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something like that. Maybe it's been longer. I don't know what time is, but definitely a regular top contributor in the chart guys. Awesome, Nino. Great to hear. Okay. Farewell, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see what it brings. We'll send out some tweets if there's anything juicy, and we'll see you next